Hey. Okay, I've been, feeling good about getting back into making videos, and I want to start making some like actual quality videos again. So this video may seem a little weird or like all over the place because I don't really know how to order this, because I've got quite a few and some of them will need more explaining than others, obviously, but this is just a fun video idea that I thought of. I'm sure you've seen this type of video everywhere else. Everyone's already done this already, but I feel like, hey, why not let me just take a shot at it, because it seems like a fun idea. And I don't know, maybe I'll have some characters in here that you didn't see in any other videos that no one else talked about. So let's just get into it. We're gonna start with the obvious ones. Obviously, Nia and Melia are back. They were literally in the trailer, and yeah, we don't officially for sure know that it's Nia and Melia, but come on, we all know that it's Nia and Melia. There's no way it's not. But now, getting into more complicated ones. Actually, before we start, obviously, spoilers in this video. I always forget to say that, but there will be spoilers for Xenoblade 1, 2, and actually X, surprisingly. So, yeah, spoilers for the whole Xenoblade series. Okay, but after Melia and Nia, Fiora can actually return. And my reasoning is, we know after Fiora was killed by Metal Face, she was like put into a Mechon body by Lenata. And even though, yes, at the end of Xenoblade 1, she returned to her full, like, natural biological body, but since she's been put in the Mechon body before, who's to say she can't be, put back into that Mechon body? And we know that the Machina can live for hundreds and hundreds of years, because we know Egil was around when the giants were there on Bionis, and that's when Egil and Zanza and everything were all, they were friends back when the giants were still on Bionis. And then after Zanza possessed Arglis, he was locked away in prison island. I don't exactly remember how long it was. I think Zanza was locked up in prison island for a couple hundred years, like 200 or 300 years. I don't know. I don't remember, but it's been a long ass time. And Egil was still around by the events of the game. So the Machina can live for a pretty long ass time, because we still even see Lands in the trailer and he's a Machina. So maybe Lenata just like fitted Fiora's body in back into a Mechon body, or she somehow found a way to prolong everyone's life and make everybody live longer. So by that extension, maybe Lenata herself could return. And this is not as fun, but the whole cast of Xenoblade 1 could return, but that's no, because she could have just fitted everyone's body to just live longer and the whole cast of Xenoblade 1 would return, but that's just kind of boring. So I'm gonna keep it to Fiora. So Fiora, and maybe stretching it, Lenata could return, because the Machina are extremely intelligent, especially Lenata, and they're just insane. So after Fiora, we have Zeke and Pandoria. Now in the trailer, that one Van Damme looking guy, a lot of people say that could be Zeke because the eye patch, but Van Damme, I'm pretty sure, also had it. No, he didn't have an eye patch. But anyone can have an eye patch. You just get your eye gouged out, there's an eye patch. And just the design on Zeke's eye patch, and I'm just calling Van Damme for simplicity, on Zeke and Van Damme's eye patch, the designs are different. So he also could have just changed eye patches, but I still think that's Van Damme. Even the coloration is similar to Zeke with the gray, bluish gray theme going on, but I don't know. That could be Van Damme or someone else, but that's not what I'm talking about here. When I'm talking about Zeke could return, Zeke and Pandoria, We know that Zeke is actually a blade eater, and pretty sure blade eaters live longer than just, you know, like regular humans, because Amalthus was a blade eater with Hayes, and he was, you know, back in Torna after Laura died, and I'm assuming is when he like did the whole blade eater thing with Hayes, and he's still alive 500 years later in the events of Xenoblade 2. So it's not hard to assume that Zeke, and by extension Pandoria, would return in Xenoblade 3. Now, we do not know how long after Xenoblade 1 and 2 that Xenoblade 3 takes place, but I'm pretty sure, I think I remember hearing Takahashi saying it was a distant future, maybe? I don't know. It's quite a bit of time has passed. So, and if Amalthus can survive for 500 years, I don't think a couple hundred will be that hard for like Zeke. So Zeke and Pandoria may come back in Xenoblade 2 or 3. And actually, Morag and Brighid could as well. Now, I know you may be saying that makes no sense because, you know, Morag is not a blade eater, or Brighid isn't a flesh eater. But here in chapter 7, I think? Yeah, at the beginning of chapter 7, after we get Numa, like get Pyra met back and Numa's revealed. No, stupid. Before we go to Mortha, so after Nia reveals herself as a flesh eater, when we're in Fawnset, like the cutscene after, Morag talks about how she's kind of envious of Rex and Zeke, Nia and all them, because they're all like special either blade or flesh eaters, and Morag's envious and she wants to become a blade eater herself.
There was a blade too.
Why didn't you tell us, Nia?
I just didn't, okay?
No, it's not okay.
You lot really are just children, aren't you?
Huh? What do you mean?
You'll understand one day.
Hey, you know, me, Rex, Nia, we've all got some kind of deep blade connection going on with us, haven't we?
To tell the truth, I am a little envious. Lady Morag.
You know, I'm sure it could be arranged.
Would it leave a scar?
That's kind of part of the bargain.
In that case, maybe not. No, that's not what I meant. It's just...
Relax. Much as I appreciate the sentiment, I wouldn't want you to harm yourself.
I am sorry.
But then she turned it down because she realized that it would leave a scar, and she said, oh, maybe another time. So maybe Morag actually finally decided to go through with it and become a blade eater, so her and Brighid could still be alive. But Amalthus is dead now, so I don't know, and I'm pretty sure he was the one who was like facilitating the whole like blade eater, flesh eater experiments or whatever. So I don't know if Amalthus is needed for that to happen, or if he had others he was working with that they could perform the whole thing, or if Amalthus himself had to do it. I don't know. So maybe Morag and Brighid could return, depending on if Amalthus was needed for the whole blade eater, flesh eater experiment thing. But also Rex and Mythra could return. I mean, that also seems kind of, I might as well just add everyone from the, I basically am, everyone from goddamn Xenoblade 2 party is coming back. And that also kind of boring. But for Rex and Mythra, at the end of the game, we see Numa give Rex the full core crystal, which means Rex is no longer a blade eater, because she extracts Rex's half out of his chest and combines it back with hers, and then she just gives him the full core crystal, because the Aegises can survive for a little while after you know, their core crystal is gone, or like taking the core crystal out, they can survive for a little while longer. Kind of how chickens can still survive without their head for a little bit. But, and then after that, and Elysium is revealed, Pyra and Mythra come back. Like both of them come back, which is still kind of weird because they're both like their own separate, you know, entities right there. But yeah, maybe, you know, Rex and Mythra wanted to live longer, like with Nia or whatever, and then, or like maybe all. So if Morag did go through with the Blade Eater thing, then the whole party would still be alive. I'll get to Tora in a second. The whole party could still be alive, and Rex decided, you know what, fuck it. Why not just, like, you know, share the Aegis core crystal again to like make Rex Blade Eater again, and like everyone could all just like live longer together. I don't know, it sounds really dumb. Again, this video is just kind of all over the place. It's just some kind of cool little idea that I had. Like, I have no script. I'm literally just have bullet points of like the characters, and then I mean yeah, so it's kind of unorganized. Okay, yeah, sorry about that cut. I got a call in the middle of recording, and that's kind of annoying because I was trying to do all of this in one take, but you know, we're here. But yeah, I was saying Rex and Mythra could return. Next, I mean, before I get to this one, if you think about it, all the rare blades could return because, I mean, they're like in the core crystals, so they could like be awakened at any time. And we know blades do exist in Xenoblade 3 because, well, first of all, Xenoblade 3 is the combined worlds of 1 and 2, like the combined futures, so obviously blades would be there. But we also have Mio and Senna. Senna is like a full-on blade, and then Mio's a flesh eater, so she's still technically a blade as well. Now, this one's kind of weird because the rare blades from Xenoblade 2, they need a driver in order to be like awakened and like live in the world. As far as we can tell from Xenoblade 3, drivers are no longer needed, at least because Senna, she's out here acting on her own. Now, she could have a driver that's just somewhere else and that we don't meet until later in the game, and she does have a driver, but considering how much time has passed, maybe the core crystals or the blades have evolved to the point where they don't need drivers anymore and they can just act independently on their own as if they were flesh eaters. So that could be the case with Senna, and therefore could be the case with all the other rare blades. Actually no, because all the rare blades from Xenoblade 2 would be like older, like the older non-evolved form of blades that still need drivers in order to be awakened. Or say Lunata and some other Machina or something could have like changed the code in the core crystals to where they don't need drivers anymore. So like maybe the core crystals were upgraded or not needing drivers. I don't know, it's kind of out there, but you know, that's, I mean, we're talking about Xenoblade, everything is kind of just out there. But next, I'm actually kind of excited about this one. This one is like the least possible one, and it's not really something I like kind of think will happen. This one is just something that would be cool if it did happen, but I mean, I know it's almost guaranteed not going to happen. But Elma okay, Elma could come back. And listen, before you call me stupid, rightfully so, just let me explain. So we know in Xenoblade X, Elma is revealed to be an alien that went to Earth and like disguised herself as a human, and she brought the technology of skills with her. Now, if you saw my last video about how Elma is Cosmos and all of that, whatever, that doesn't actually have anything to do with this video, but go watch that one because I had a lot of fun making that one. It was just some stupid shit that I came up with. But we know Elma came to Earth with the technology of skills and basically helped humanity escape off to Mira. Now the original destination wasn't Mira, but they did crash land onto Mira, and it's revealed that Elma is actually an alien. And hell, for all we know, Elma's alien race, we still don't know what race she is. She's not a Chlorian like Celica is. There's a lot of notable differences that I won't go over right now. But Elma's race, they could be like the Machina and live for hundreds and hundreds of years. And if it's true that Mira is Ionios in the future, and that Ionios takes place on Mira, then maybe Elma could be there somehow. How would that work though? Because she didn't know anything about, actually, because Xenoblade X, she said, oh, Mira doesn't appear in any star chart. And I mean, Luxon made a whole video about this whole star chart thing. I'll link that in the description. But and now that I think about it, this one just sounds really dumb. I mean, it's not supposed to be like actually true, but I don't know. The more I think about it, the less sense it actually makes. But whatever, Elma could return. But I was gonna say, how could she be here in Ionios when her first time going to Mira was during Xenoblade X? And Ionios is on Mira. See, this is what I mean. It doesn't make any sense. But going back to the ones that actually do kind of make sense, Malos could return because we know he was defeated and presumably killed in Torna 500 years before Xenoblade 2. And I mean, he died, and then here he is back in base game Xenoblade 2, and then he died in Xenoblade 2. Who's to say he can't come back in Xenoblade 3? I mean, he is an Aegis, so they're like special blades. Their Aegises are special and can do things that normal blades can't. But I think as long as the core crystal isn't destroyed, they can still return, kind of like how Deoxys works in Pokemon. As long as his central core crystal is basically what it is, a core crystal. As long as his like little core crystal isn't destroyed, then they'll always be able to come back. Or was that Starmie? I think it was Starmie or Deoxys. But as long as the central core, like little crystal, isn't destroyed, they're not truly ever dead. Well, maybe that's the same with Aegises. I don't know. That one's kind of weird and out there, but again, it's Xenoblade. Everything is kind of out there. But now, Riki and Tora could come back. Riki and Tora are different, not because of like any Machina Linata, like extending life type shit like that for the other party members, but maybe with some weird Nopon Arcsage shenanigans, because you know the Nopon Arcsage can like dimension hop, I guess, and maybe the Nopon Arcsage use like the power of the Zohar to like extend Nopon life somehow. I don't know. The Nopon Arcsage is weird, and we don't really know like anything about him and like what he can do. So for all we know, he could have like just added like 400 years onto the lifespan of Tora and Riki respectively. I don't know. It's weird. But Poppi could also come back, and not because she has anything to do with Tora, but she's an artificial blade, so she doesn't really need a driver in order to function. She can function perfectly fine on her own. And now that I think about it, Senna could be an artificial blade. Oh my god, and like driver or blades do still need drivers. That was just getting into like whole different theory territory. But back on topic, Poppi could return because, you know, she doesn't really need Tora in order to function. So, I mean, shit, that could be a possibility. But yeah, this video is all over the place and I'm just really excited, so I'm like stumbling all over my words and everything. But you know, fuck it, we're here. But as like a quick recap, the characters that could return, alright, Nia and Melia we know for sure, but Fiora, Zeke Pandoria, Morag and Brighid, Rex Mythra, Elma, maybe Elma, like that's like the least plausible one. Maybe all the rare blades, Malos, Riki, Tora, and Poppi. Now, obviously there could be some more characters that could return if I like actually looked deep into it. But I don't know, I just thought this was just a fun idea and I kind of just looked at surface level, like off top characters I thought of that could return. So maybe there's more, but a lot of these just sound really dumb with like no evidence behind it except for what I said, which is not really anything at all. But I don't know, I'm just excited to be making videos again, and this is just a fun little video I thought of. Obviously there's a high chance that none of these characters are going to make it back in except for Nia and Melia, but you know, that's kind of the magic of not knowing about the game. We can just theorize and speculate on things, and then we'll see if we're right or wrong when the game actually comes out. But yeah, that's really about it for this video. I also have a video coming about how Cosmos and Elma are like the similarities between them, and like it was actually inspired by my last video. In the comments, I completely forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, my last video was about how Elma is Cosmos, and it's just some stupid shit I came up with, but that actually kind of inspired, or someone in the comments actually inspired me to make a video about like the actual real serious connections between Elma and Cosmos, and how Elma is supposed to be like the Cosmos of Xenoblade. You know how important Cosmos is to Xenosaga, and she's basically like the poster child of Xenosaga and Monolith itself. I mean, Elma could be like that for Xenoblade. I don't know, that video will come sometime later. I'm gonna have to like look into it. But yeah, that's really it for this video. I had a lot of fun with this. I love recording videos and just like seeing all the interaction and what everyone else thinks. Damn. But yeah, that's about it. So as always, thanks for watching. Have a damn good day. Stay safe, be well, and play some goddamn Xenoblade.